Yes. Good evening. Thank you for being here this evening. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Shako, roll call. Ms. Shako is substituting for Mr. Cuff, who is out sick this evening. Ms. Boyd.
Present. Present. Sorry.
Ms. Callahan is absent. Ms. Hobb?
Here.
Ms. Hopkins?
Here.
Ms. Ivory? Here. Ms. Phillips? Here. Ms. Richardson?
Here.
Mr. Tom?
Present.
Mr. Wright?
Here.
Ms. Tom? Here. Mr. Bandy?
Here.
And Ms. Stewart is absent.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Shako. All right, good news. Oh, would you keep on moving with that? For January 2020. Prom dress gala is this Wednesday, January 29th, 2 to 8:30 at the Penn High School Library. Free long and short dresses. Please come out. There's some fabulous dresses. Yes?
It's not just for prom, people that are going to proms too. Any girl who wants a dressy dress, 8th grade dance, we're going to have almost 300 dresses. So anybody who needs any kind of dress, come out.
Great. Want a fancy dress? Come on out.
Yes.
Find a party for the dress.
We'll make it.
Right, or make one. Fame is going to be at the high school, February 6th to the 8th. If you haven't been to one of our fantastic plays, do go. Thank you to Miss Jordan ahead of time, Mrs. Hill and Miss Maxwell also. Congratulations to the bocce team. A lot of love there, so thank you guys for being an awesome bocce team. These are pictures from our day of service. I want to thank everyone that came out. God bless you. We donated food, baby clothes, and baby things to the Lansdowne Presbyterian Church. Thank you, State Representative McClinton, for coming out. There were a lot of folks there. It was an amazing day. About 102 people came out to help. Congratulations to the boys 4x4. Last week they were PA number 17 and unranked in the United States. This weekend they became PA 2 and US number 6 with a 3-minute and 23.46, dropping 12 seconds off their time. The only good news, bad news is that Upper Darby's number 1 in the state, so we'll have to go for that. We're coming. We don't run fast early anyway. I want some great news from Bell Avenue holiday sing-along. Look at our amazingly fabulous children. The Bell Avenue Winter Concert, that was great. I was there. That was a fabulous evening. And now to the International Codathon. That was this weekend. The top row and the second row are the students that participated. We had 27 students that got locked in Friday at 3:30 and came out yesterday, Sunday at 4:30. They were fabulous to be with. I just want you to look at their faces. These are our seniors. Congratulations to them. They've been in the program combined of 10 years. 4 years on the corners and 2 years in the middle. This was Team 1, Cloud 6. Those fabulous folks. Team 2, Fly High. Team 3, Eagle Eye Delivery. They all did websites. I'm going to be sending them to the school board directors later this week. Team 4, PARAGUARD. Who's that little guy in the middle? Team 5, the Friendly Flyers. So I want to thank the school district, Penwood Foundation, all the countless volunteers that helped us pull off this evening. Mr. Rafi Cave and Mrs. Kim Tong for doing the overnight so we could sleep a little. It's a brave person that offers to work from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. Some more cool kids. fully focused, engaged learners at Bell Avenue Elementary. Look at those cool kids. And Bell Avenue also had Penwood alumnus Usana Kamara return for boot camp to surprise her younger siblings at Bell Avenue. So we appreciate her service, and we appreciate her coming to surprise her siblings at school. Some board committee meetings coming up. Policy is Wednesday, February 5th at 6:30. They're all in this room. Personnel is Thursday, February 6th. Community Relations is the next week, February 12th. Education, Thursday, February 13th. Committee of the Whole is Tuesday, February 18th, due to the federal holiday on the Monday of the month. And the business meeting is Monday, February 24th. Pre-session starts at 6:30, regular session at 7:30. And if you need me, please call. I'll be there. I think that was a song. All right, thank you very much. Ms. Harbert, for the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. I first want to thank Ms. Hoff for her dedication to the Code-a-thon event that was held this weekend at Penwood Middle School. This is the district's 5th year to participate in this event. Without Ms. Hoff and her host of volunteers, and she manages to fund a lot of them, our students would not have this opportunity. I also want to say thank you to Dr. Forcino for putting up student artwork for us today. It's behind us. The student artwork is from East Lansdowne, provided by their art teacher, Ms. Holden. I am going to put a competition out there to the other principals that we'd like to see artwork from the other schools. I realize that we've been back from the winter break for 16 days, but this is my first opportunity to publicly welcome back our students and staff from the winter holiday season. We have quickly moved from the winter holiday season into the next season, and that's the 2020 season of politics. Today I participated in a press conference held in Norristown, Pennsylvania. About 35 superintendents from public school districts in the 5-county greater Philadelphia region joined together with others from across the state and calling for meaningful, fundamental reform of Pennsylvania's charter school laws. Superintendents are asking for the following reform from Governor Wolf. We are asking the governor to support a moratorium on new charter school applications and a freeze on additional seats for students at existing charters until law reform is enacted. Superintendents are also asking for the funding formula for charter schools to be changed to reflect the actual cost needed to educate students. The group is calling for a flat tuition rate for all cyber charter schools and a change in the special education rate for all charters. Currently, many charters are collecting upwards of $30,000 per student for special education services that cost much less than that. In 2017 and 18, Pennsylvania school districts paid $1.8 billion in tuition to charter schools, $1.3 billion to brick and mortar charters, and almost $500 million to cyber charters. Charter costs have increased by $170 million, or 10% from the prior year. At William Penn, we have seen our charter school reform tuition almost triple in the past 10 years. We're also frustrated that charter law treats both cyber and brick mortar charters very differently from public schools. For example, charters are only required to have 75% of their teaching staff appropriately certified compared to 100% in traditional public school districts. Charter teachers don't have to be evaluated in the same way that traditional public school teachers do. Charters are largely exempt from many of the mandates that public schools face. In addition, many charters are run by for-profit companies and spend taxpayer dollars on advertising. We're also calling for the reform of the Charter Appeals Board, which has the ability to overrule local school boards. Currently, CAB is comprised of individuals who were appointed years ago and who have all deep connections to charter schools. It is not an impartial body as intended by law. Districts want greater authority to close underperforming charter schools, something that's been difficult. under the current jurisdiction. This week, on Wednesday, January the 29th, and board members, I will send you the link. From 1:30 to 2, William Penn School District and our attorneys will be holding a virtual press conference to update the public on William Penn and other school funding litigation. The lawsuit, now in Commonwealth Court, is seeking to change Pennsylvania's inequitable school funding system. Trial is tentatively scheduled for fall of 2020, and discovery is nearing its conclusion. As Governor Tom Wolf prepares to make his budget address on February the 4th, we hope to inform our public about what the state budget means for our case, as well as other recent developments in the lawsuit. This is my report for January 2020. Thank you, Ms. Hall.
Thank you, Ms. Holbrook. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It was Mr. Tom.
Sure. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? I did want to point out to the public that in the back is policy 903. We will be enforcing that this evening in regards to public comment. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the business meeting of December 16, 2019?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or changes to the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the committee meeting of the whole of January 21st, 2020?
So moved.
Second.
So moved.
We missed Jeff. Any changes or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor? Anyone against? Great, thank you. Good evening, students. Ms. Tom, comments, please?
Hello. This year, our senior class started the PNN News. It's a great way to spread the news around school about different activities and clubs. The PNN News is usually shown on Friday mornings and lasts around like 5 minutes. There are really great reviews about it, and the only thing that is flawed is that Cypress can't really see it. I will be talking to former board representative Lowe about her ability to make it possible for Cypress to watch the PNN News.
Great.
Thank you.
Can you find out why they can see? Is that because it's on YouTube?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fabulous. I watch it every week. I put it on Facebook, on my page. It's fabulous.
All right. Thank you.
So, Mr. Corcoran, is there a reason why? Okay.
Thank you. Don, thanks for coming this evening. Mr. Vandy.
So first, some good news. Like a few months ago, for our long government classes, we wrote letters to our state senators and also to our representatives, right? So now we realized that one of our Congresswoman, Mary Gay Scanlon, she actually wrote back, and he said that she wants to come to our school and do a sort of town hall, so we can ask questions to her because she really liked the letters we wrote. So I feel like that's really good for our students. Get some experience.
Congratulations.
Yes, it's scheduled for March
13th, right?
Yeah. Alright. And some other things. First, I want to have a question. Some question kind of about transportation. I want to do some more research on it, but I heard this for buses, something about 2 miles to get a bus, right? So I want to see if that's is that a hard line or is that some kind of gray areas? So if you're around that area, can you also get a bus? Because that could be a problem for some students. And also my second thing is at my 2 meetings ago, I think I asked some questions about the credit recovery program, and I feel like it was mentioned that there'll be some kind of group form of some students to kind of talk about this. And also, I didn't really hear much about that, so I just had some questions if that's still happening.
So it has happened, Mr. Bandy. They did have the credit recovery and the quarter restoration meetings. They had them after school on Wednesdays. I don't know if it was advertised to students or not, but I think there are a lot of answers there already. It's will be, I think we are putting it into the course guide selection, is that correct? So it's some good things in there, even for our students who are in, and you'll have to help me, Mr. McKay, our students are in even the AP classes can get, if they do well the second quarter, they can get, if they failed it, they do well the second quarter, they can change it to a D.
I have to check.
Yeah, so we did take that into consideration. Some of the classes, we couldn't do that, Mr. Vandy, because we're under College Board, and the AP classes, it's hard to change some of the rules and regulations there, okay? We did look at our honors classes to help support that. We have our homework club after school that's being run. I know definitely at Cypress, I think we're trying to still make it work at Green Avenue, but I think we're up to about 50-some students in the homework, so that kids can come and get help with their and support with that. Then we're looking at the restoration. We did take it, if there were questions about the time frame, we did extend how many sessions students had to attend and what the accuracy rate had to be. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you get the board and the public, let's post it on the website, the final information about credit recovery?
Credit recovery and quarter registration.
Is that,
Yes.
is this, I'm sorry, I just want to ask, did she say that was in the course selection guide?
It will be in the course, it
Or
will be.
Gotcha.
Our new one.
Okay,
Yes.
that's all I was
Yeah,
wondering.
no.
Okay, I was like, it's not in this one, okay.
Yeah, no, it has to be, and it's getting ready to go to print tomorrow.
Okay.
Have a look at Mr.
So it
McKay.
might be in our update or something.
Yes, so we can get that out to you.
Okay,
Right.
thank
And
you.
then after we get it, let's post it on the website, please.
Could you get a comment on this about the bus transportation?
Right. So,
He asked about the bus.
yeah, it is a hard stop at 2 miles
For secondary,
for secondary, 1.5 miles
for elementary.
for elementary. Do you want to say anything else about it?
Without a policy, you don't actually have discretion to do much with it.
Right.
You could always revisit a
Yeah.
policy, but otherwise.
It's a financial issue that we need to talk about, and we will be discussing it during an upcoming budget meeting. Okay, and I will personally let you know when that is, if you want to come. It works when, we went from 1.5 miles to 2 miles, it was a budget decision. And it's unfortunate that we have to make decisions like that, but busing is probably our 4th or 5th largest expense. And whatever we do for us, we need to do for all the charters and all the programs. So when we make a decision, it's not just for William Penn. It multiplies to the other 118 schools that we have to bus to and from. But I'll make sure you know about that budget specifically.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, both of you. Here. Can you pass this to Julie? Just
to start.
Yeah. All right, you're next.
Okay, I'm going to stand for this because I think it's very important. I'm actually going to read it right from the agenda. Special awards. Special awards are presented to the William Penn School District Board of Directors in observance of School Director Recognition Month. School board members encounter many complex and difficult challenges as they strive to ensure continuous improvement in student learning and fiscal responsibility. School Director Recognition Month was instituted by the Pennsylvania School Board Association to designate a time to show appreciation to local school board members who volunteer hundreds of hours each year and collaborate in order to provide a better future for our children. In recognition of dedicated service to the William Penn School District, we pay tribute to the William Penn School District Board of School Directors, Ms. Jennifer Hoff, President, Ms. Joanna Hopkins, Vice President, and school board members, Ms. Monique Boykins, Mr. William Callahan, Ms. Wadia Ottery, Ms. Rebecca Phillips, Ms. Luella Richardson, Mr. Jan Tong, and Mr. Robert E. Wright Sr. And our student representatives, thank you to Caitlin Tong and Paul Vandy. And hope you appreciate the little token of our, how much we appreciate what you all do for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, public comments regarding agenda items. Yes, your name and where you live.
Oh, where I live?
Yes,
Well, I live in Newcastle, Delaware.
correct.
But
Your name?
I'm Elizabeth Brown.
Okay.
So I do think it's a great idea to keep adding classes, like we have these AP classes that are on the agenda. But I think we need to be mindful that we don't have the basics. For example, the SAT Math and the SAT English. We haven't had SAT Math in about 3 to 4 years because we haven't had a teacher to be able to teach it. So we're talking about being college and career ready, and we don't have the basics. It's in the course selection guide. It's supposed to be offered, but every time it comes up when we're building the master schedule, it's that we don't have enough teachers. So when we spread, it seems like we're spreading things a little thin, and I know that the budget is tight. I understand that, but it's like if you don't have the basics, why do you keep adding things? So maybe that's something to think about, because a lot of the kids, especially my 12th graders, they're like, I wish I did have SAT Math. I wish I did have SAT English. And they had a limited SAT English class that was in 10th grade, their 10th grade year, and only one section of it. So 30 kids could take it. But there's 317 of them, and then there's kids coming up. There's these kids that are here, and we want them to perform, and we want them to do well, and they're supposed to, that's supposed to help increase their chances to go to college, and they don't have the preparation to do so. So I just wanted to take a time, I just wanted you to be mindful of that.
Yeah, we will absolutely look into that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You want it? Yep, gotcha.
All right, stop. There you go. Sorry, we're training a new timekeeper. Mr. Brown?
It's a borderline agenda item.
I'm sorry, your name?
Clifford
and-
Brock, Yaden, Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
As far as the requirements for pre-registration, separate from kindergarten, I know we have, we've talked about monitoring whether or not children that go to William Penn School District actually still live in the William Penn School District. So at the last couple meetings last year, 2019, we discussed it here and said that we were going to try to do better, even though there were still some guidelines already in place. So my question is, for the year 2020, are you going to implement any additional monitoring to find out, because so many parents see other children get off a bus and then walk and go to Philadelphia. And we do know that there are stipulations behind that, whether or not they live with grandparents, blah, 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 blah. So is there any additional resources, any additional monitoring going to take place to curtail how many students do not live in the William Penn School District?
So we have, of course, one person who does that for us, Curtis Stockley. Mr. Stockley is retiring in June, so we will have to be looking at something else that we will be putting in there. Who we put in that position and what their role will be may be changed some. We have how many, I think don't you, Dr. Bruno, kind of keep track of how many folks we have actually put in? I thought you gave me a number on that one day, 70 some, I thought, for students who didn't live in the district, and we'd sent letters to put them out.
Yes, it was, I believe, 72 or 73 students.
73 students that we have. When it's reported to us, Mr. Stockley does do the investigation. We have to be very careful because sometimes if there's joint custody and one parent lives in the district, they can choose to attend here. We have over 50-some homeless students, and we have foster students who, over 70 in foster care. When children are placed into foster care, even outside of our school district, if they make a decision that it is in best interest to keep that child in our school district, even though they may be living in Philly or whatever, if they're in foster care, and if the decision is made to leave them here because it's best for their education, then we have to honor that. And when we will transport them, and but that's some of the things that we have to abide by in the law.
Understood.
Are we able to provide a monthly report to say what we're doing with that? Because I think last time we talked about this, we said we were going to update the public.
And I did, and I think we put 70-some out in this year.
So you're just looking for the number, or are you looking for the process?
No, I remember us saying that we would provide the number
Okay,
to the public
we can get that number.
to let them know the progress.
Got it. Got it. Mr. Carpenter?
Randy Carpenter, Darby, Billy. In reference to agenda item C2, A1, A2, I see we have the appointment of Barbara Rico, $450 a day, and Robert Wetzel, $300 per day, and administrative positions. And I was just trying to figure out if those positions were advertised.
Those are administrative positions. We have people out on, when people are out on leave, we will have the right to put a substitute in, which we have done. They are Act 93. They are not something that has to be advertised. If they were going to be out permanently, we could advertise those positions. The decision made to fill these positions with substitutes and outside people is because this time of the year, we struggle in getting substitutes for our classrooms, and to pull teachers out during this time of the year when we're getting students ready for our standardized testing was not in the best interest of students. So we decided to go this direction in filling in for those administrative positions.
Okay, just wanted to note that you've said that before, and then in February, we pulled out teachers for the Eagle Grant. We took a 10-year teacher and a 6-year teacher. They want you to start the clock. And we pulled them out and then replaced them with subs in February. So the precedent was already set by you guys doing that. And just to, of course, your superintendent will follow your lead. Article 35 states notification of vacancies during the school year. All members of the professional staff will be informed by the superintendent of administrative, supervisory guidance, and teaching positions as they become vacant or available. A copy of any notice sent to each school building will also be sent to the president of the WPEA and posted on the district's website. As those positions have become vacant or available, it does not say anything about whether it's short-term or long-term. We are to be notified. It doesn't say we have to be hired, but we have to be notified. So once again,
Those positions are not vacant. Those positions, those people are on leave, so they are not vacant.
vacant or available. They were available. For instance, you had Ms. Lawson out since November 11th. And that was my next question. What was the strategic plan behind that? I'm sorry, when she was out since November 11th. We were short an administrator, and we have several highly qualified staff members in our district. But instead, what we chose to do is we took a Title I position and we moved that person over to a different building. Now, when it comes to Title I, we have to be very specific when we're talking to the state, and we have to detail what the position is created for, what we'll do with the position. And I would just like to request a copy of your Title I submission for all of your teacher on special assignment positions, because I'm not sure they're currently lining up where we take someone on special assignment and put them in that role, whether it be temporary or not.
That position that you're requiring, that you're talking about, the teacher on special assignment, is not a Title I position. It is not.
What is teacher on special assignment? I'm confused.
The teacher on special assignment, Cypress,
Yes.
is not a Title I teacher on special assignment.
So it was pulled out, I'm just asking, not to be smart or anything, like, was it pulled out of the general budget? Out the, like, where?
It has always been put into the general budget. It is a teacher on special assignment. That has been for the past 3 years.
Okay, I would just want us to just double check how we send things out. And if you look at the subject line is totally different. But once again, we have several people that were qualified for that, and we didn't even have interviews or anything, and we just had Dr. Lee just, submit whoever. So, I mean, that was it for the C2 and then also the C4, C5, which you just addressed. But basically, once again, we are not allowed to advance in this district. It's all about, I guess, who you know instead of what you know. Thank you very much.
Anyone else on agenda items? Hearing none. Ms. Phillips, community relations.
A1 Black History Month proclamation.
I'm sorry.
Just for the minutes, can we confirm?
Were there any communications? Thank you.
Whereas in the year 1926, Mr. Carter G. Woodson, Black historian and founder of the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History in American Life, proposed Black History Week, and whereas Black History Month was established in 1976, is sponsored by the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, and is observed the entire month of February. The ASALH has selected the 2020 Black History theme as African Americans and the Vote. Through voting rights, campaigns, and legal suits from the turn of the century to mid-1960 and continuing in the courts today, African Americans made their voices heard as to the importance of the vote. And whereas in order to carry on the tradition Mr. Woodson began, Black History Month is observed to inform and educate people about the history of African American men and women and the contributions they have made to American life and culture. The yearly themes reflect changes in how people of African descent in the United States have viewed themselves, the influence of social movements, and the historical importance of race relations in America. Special programs and activities in the schools of the William Penn School District will commemorate the study of African American life and history. Now therefore, be it resolved that the School Board of School Directors of the William Penn School District hereby proclaim the month of February as Black History Month for the year 2020. Resolved this day, 27th day of January 2020.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
A2 kindergarten pre-registration for the 2020-2021 school year. So it opens March 2nd and goes till March 31st. It's by appointment only, and the agenda has information about who to call and what you need to bring for registration. A3 Penwood High School presents Fame, which Jennifer talked about, but just to reiterate the dates, February 6th through February 8th, and tickets can be purchased in advance. A4 Penwood High School Curriculum Course Selection Night will be held February 20th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And this is an opportunity for parents and students to meet with high school department chairs and administrators to learn about course selection process. A5, Penwood art students' work displayed in high school exhibit at BCCC. January 16th, 2020 was the opening day of the exhibit, and it'll run through February 21st. And there's a reception on Wednesday, January 29th from 4 to 7. A6, Target Field Trip Grant awarded for $700 to visit the Philadelphia Art Museum. A7, Lansdowne Upper Darby Rotary Club January Student of the Month Award goes to Lo Samalu, who was a representative on the board for 3 years, and lots more great stuff in here to read about as well. A8, Penwood Middle School educators to present at PAMLE conference. Dr. Andrew Kuhn and Mr. Robert Smythe were selected, and they'll be presenting a session called School News, Creating Something from Nothing. A9, DCIU sponsors parenting group for parents in recovery. The Delaware County Intermediate Union Unit Family Center is hosting a free parenting group for parents who are living in recovery from substance abuse disorder, and classes will be held beginning in February and going through March. And there's information in the agenda on how to register. A10 DCIU sponsored Parenting Plus workshop. This one is being held from March 4th through March 25th. And topics include single shared parenting, health and nutrition, adjusting to parenting, and others. And again, if you register, there's information in the agenda for registering. A11 Parkland College's Dental Center offering free sealant day for children. This will be on Monday, February 17th with various appointment times. And again, there's information in the agenda for how to get connected to that.
Great, thank you. May I have a motion on A1?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Thank you very much. Education, Ms. Boykins, please.
B1, homebound instruction. B2, termination of homebound instruction. B3, advanced placement European history course at Penwood High School, Green Avenue campus. The superintendent recommends that an advanced placement European history course be offered at Penwood High School, Green Avenue campus. The course focuses on developing students' abilities to think conceptually about European history from approximately 1450 to the present and apply historical thinking skills as they learn about the past. 5 themes of equal importance: interaction of Europe and the world, poverty and prosperity, objective knowledge and subjective visions, states and other institutions of power, and individual and society. Provide areas of historical inquiry for investigation throughout the course. These require students to reason historically about continuity and change over time and make comparisons among various historical developments in different times and places. Classwork entails directed reading, subjective, objective examination, class discussions, research papers, projects, and oral presentations to develop the skills of comprehension, analysis of material, study habits, and written verbal expression. The course will culminate with the advanced placement examination in May. This is a year-long course and is worth 1 credit. Motion to approve the advanced placement European history course as described above to be offered to students at Penwood High School, Green Avenue campus as recommended by the superintendent. B4, advanced placement world history course at Penwood High School, Green Avenue campus. The superintendent recommends that advanced placement world history course be offered at Penwood High School, Green Avenue campus. Students will investigate significant events, individuals, developments, and processes from 1200 to the present. Students develop and use the same skills, practices, and methods employed by historians. Analyzing primary and secondary sources, developing historical arguments, making historical connections, and utilizing reasoning about comparison, causation, and continuity and change over time. The course provides 6 themes that students explore throughout the year in order to make connections among historical developments in different times and places: humans in the environment, cultural developments and interactions, governance and economic systems, social interactions and organization, and technology and innovation. The course will culminate with advanced placement examination in May. This is a year-long course and is worth 1 credit. To approve the advanced placement world history course as described above to be offered to students at Penwood High School, Green Avenue campus as recommended by the superintendent. B5, Cowlin Elementary School, grade K through 2, students trip to Adventure Aquarium in Camden, New Jersey. B6, Penwood High School, Green Avenue campus, 12th grade student trip to Main Event Entertainment in Newark, Delaware. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Boykins. May I have a first and a second? Second. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
I have a question. 3 and B4. We requested if there was any student input in making this decision for the courses.
There was.
Course selection, and we requested data for
information. So I'm going to, Mr. McKay.
So students approached the teachers and said that they would like to have, in the area of humanities, would like to have additional courses they could take as AP courses beyond AP psychology. And this was our answer to their request. And we added something for 11th grade and something for 12th grade in AP history.
Do you want to go ahead and explain for the camera that these are the courses that are offered through College Board?
So in order to have AP classes, they have to be sanctioned and provided by the College Board. We are limited in what we can offer based on what the College Board offers to us. In speaking with Ms. Hoff and Ms. Harbert, we're going to see what additional courses can be expanded to meet additional interests and needs throughout the United States. Because at this time, they do not offer an AP African History or African Studies program, nor do they offer Women's Studies or History. Both subjects would have, we feel, a wide variety of interest, so we will be crafting a letter to send to them to ask for that consideration.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor? No, we did not. I'll get them under public comment on agenda, non-agenda items. I'm sorry, all those in favor? Anyone against?
Yes.
Against?
Yes.
Okay.
I am against B3 and B4 at this time. I would like to have more data and understand what students feel about having B3 and B4. Also, based off of public comment, I think that I wanted to take more look at our SAT Math and SAT English.
Got it. Thank you. Personnel, Mr. Ray?
Did you vote no?
I voted no as well. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not there. 5-3. I'm sorry, at Community Relations, I was going to allow Ms. Phillips to give a report on the superintendent search, and we forgot. So I'm going to go back and ask Ms. Phillips to give her superintendent search report.
Okay, so for the superintendent search timeline presented at the onset of the search, the process has moved into the final phase. As reported in the November update 28, diverse qualified applicants from across the country completed the application process. After a thorough screening of applications, 12 candidates were invited for the first round interviews, which were held the third week of December. 6 candidates were then chosen for the second round of interviews, which were held the week of January 13th. And finally, 2 candidates have been invited back for the final round of interviews. The William Penn School District Board of Directors set out a timeline to hopefully appoint a superintendent February or March 2020, and the board is hopeful this timeline will be accomplished.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. And if you have any questions on that, we'll take them during non-agenda items. Okay, Mr. Wright, personnel?
All right, thank you. C1, resignation, A, professional staff. C2, appointment administrative staff. B, professional staff. C, support staff. D, tutors 2019-2020 school year, $30 an hour, Title I funds, Alton Elementary School and Cowan Elementary School. E, after school tutors 2019-2020 school year, $30 an hour, Title I funds, Evan Elementary School and Penwood Middle School. F, Saturday Success Academy Restorative Intervention, Penwood Middle School, CS one plan fund, Title I, $30 an hour. G, special education extra IEP work, $25 an hour. H, supplemental contracts 2019-2020. A motion appointment is indicated above, contingent on receipt of appropriate clearance and physical as required by law. C3, changes in assignment. C4, leave of absence. C, possibility leave of absence. C6, resignation. A and B. C7, appointment professional staff. B, after-school tutor and homework club, 2019-20 school year, Title I funds. Willamette Elementary School, teachers $30 an hour. Park Lane Elementary School, teachers $30 an hour. Instructional assistant $15 an hour. C, supplemental contract 2019-2020. And C8, changes in assignment. And to approve the changes in assignment as indicated above. That concludes the education report. Personnel report.
May I have a second?
Second.
Any questions from the Board of School Board Directors? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Thank you. There's nothing on the property committee agenda. Look for a meeting sometime probably March. Budget and finance. E1, treasurer's report. E2, list of bills. E3, the audit report for the year ended June 30th, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions from the Board of School Board Directors? We will be setting up meetings. Our first meeting and having a conversation about a citizens committee on budget very soon. I'll send a couple of dates out to school board directors and Mr. Koff when he returns.
I have a question. So are we
Yes.
looking for like each district having a representative from each district, or are we just gonna let them volunteer themselves?
Both. Both. I would ask that school board directors absolutely recommend, encourage.
Okay.
Hopefully it's someone with budgeting experience. And then we'll have ad hoc also. Thank you for bringing that up, Ms. Hopkins. Any questions from the school board directors? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Policy committee agenda, Ms. Hopkins?
Yes, we had the first reading of revised policies 233, which is suspension and expulsions. 626, which is federal fiscal compliance, attached procurement, and 903, which is the public participation in board meetings. And our next meeting would be, Mr. Brooks has asked us to review policy number 317.1. And he would like, and I'm hoping I'm quoting him correctly, he would like us to look at adding racial and sexual discrimination. Oh, yeah, there he is.
Racial discrimination, racial or ethnic discrimination, as well as sexual orientation. So basically, we're trying to just, if we can broaden any kind of discrimination against anybody, color, creed, sexual, whatever it is, that it won't be tolerated in the district.
And as we discussed, we'll look at that policy and the policy that Mr. Khan believes covers those items, but does need work at our policy meeting next week, next Wednesday.
So our next meeting is, as Jennifer stated, is Wednesday, February 5th. And I will begin being the chair of the policy committee. But I need to change the meetings to Thursdays due to my commitment on Wednesday to DCIU. So beginning March, we will have our meeting on the first Thursday, March 5th. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Hopkins. May I have a second?
Second.
And any questions from the Board of School Board Directors? I'm just checking the date.
Checking the date?
Yeah.
I checked it.
Okay, great. Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone against? Thank you. Solicitors report?
Yes, we did have an executive session between tonight's pre-session and regular board meeting at which we discussed labor issues, a personnel matter, and a matter of litigation involving tuition recapture.
Thank you, Mr. Khan. Any old business, Ms. Shako?
None.
Any new business?
None.
Okay.
School board director have new business.
Excuse me?
School board director have new business.
Sure.
Okay. I would like to announce that I did attend the school board mandatory board training last Saturday, and they will probably be mailing my certificate probably this week.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Now he's put down the challenge. Let's get it done. Thank you, Mr. Wright. Thanks for doing that so promptly.
You're welcome.
Now, reports. Mr. Wright, can you give your report on Delaware County Community College?
No report today, but we
Okay.
have one next month.
All right, thank you. Ms. Hopkins, Delaware County Intermediate Unit?
No report from me either. I was out ill.
Okay. Delaware County Legislative Council, it's that time of year. They're back at work, all our legislators. Keep your eye. Please call your representatives and ask them what they're doing about education funding, where they stand. I'm sure after the governor's budget next week, we'll have lots to talk about and lots of advocacy to do. But do, call your legislators every month. Email them, call them, but make sure they knew who you are and that public education matters to you. Okay, comments from citizens regarding non-agenda items. Ms. Lewis?
Yes, Faye Lewis Yeaton. So, and B4 and B3, and this is still on the agenda. I know you guys just voted on it. Hopefully that we'll come back at the next board meeting and reconsider our votes on that one. Do we offer any, do we already have, what other AP courses do we already have? Do we have U.S. history already? We already have U.S. history AP courses?
Yes.
Okay. Do we already have, we have U.S. history? What other AP courses do we already have?
Mr. McKay, I'm going to ask you.
AP psychology, what else?
AP writing and composition.
AP writing and composition.
AP Spanish.
AP Spanish.
Calculus,
AP Calc.
AP Calc. United States Government and Politics?
physics and chemistry.
Do we have that? Okay.
Computer science.
The reason why I'm asking is because I wanted to check to see what other, as opposed to European history, it's not personal, guys. I just want to know, I want the kids to be able to explore the world that we live in today. And one of the complaints even about, even in the elementary schools about social studies is that we keep studying the same stuff over and over and over again, and it's not as, and I was thinking maybe we could study something that includes more people. So hopefully next meeting we can reconsider our votes on that.
So what, as Mr. McKay stated, we're going to write to the college board and ask them where they are on African American history and women's studies.
It's fine. I mean, even if we did world history and United States history, right, that will cover.
We do.
We do. Cover everything.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's what I'm asking, because I just want to know what else is out there, to
Curriculum guides
aside
online.
from
You can see the whole list.
Okay, great. And then the next thing I would like to talk about is in policy. My question that I asked at the last policy meeting that I was at, again, how can policy be written where it doesn't discriminate against the amount of people, or discriminate against the amount of people going on the field trips, right? So we're not making decisions on one field trip as opposed to the other field trip and making sure there's enough staff on the field trip. So I would like to still talk about that more at the next meeting. Have we gotten to a point where we asked, where we defined, what's the word we were trying to define? We were trying
Well-being.
Well-being of the students.
No, but I will talk to Mr. Khan about that after this meeting.
Okay. So we're trying to define the well-being of students. And the goal is to make sure that we send enough people on the field trips. We're approaching about 100 days of school. And after, I didn't know all the details of the situation that you brought up at the meeting, Ms. Huff. I didn't know like everything about it and what it entailed. But I did find out that the teacher the counselor that did the field trip, okay, doesn't cover courses, so that's good. And then the person that was requesting to go on the field trip, she has only, since this time, has covered about 5 times this year. So we're approaching about 100, that's about 5% of the time. So if there's only a 5% chance that she might have to cover a class, I would like that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I'd like for those of us who probably voted yes, or we voted yes in regards to hopefully next month, that a report would come back, from where the college boards in reference to where we can have African American study.
Right. So
I want to make that clear.
Okay, I got you, but to be honest, College Board is not going to make a new class in a month, a new curriculum in a month. But we are going to find out about the process. We are going to actively pursue this. And if for everyone's information, if you go to Wikipedia and you write AP courses, you can see the courses that AP offers. College Board offers. And so it's their list. If you want to do a College Board AP class, you must stay. That's the list.
Also, like to add, even though if it's turned down, I know for years I've been pretty much advocating for African American study in the Penn school district, and also when I was an educator, we had African American books in the school where I taught. So what I'm saying is, whether it's legislated by the College Board or not, that we should be able to at least think about purchasing books on other cultures. So that should not preclude, and I think hopefully we should do that. If the educators here get behind us, we would have had these books a long time ago. And so I believe that's something, because the school where I work, that's what we did. We said we wanted books for all cultures, and we had that.
So, Mr. Wright, we're going through the curriculum review. We did ELA last year.
Right.
Science is on the docket, and they have started the curriculum review for science. I am not sure when history or the social studies. Next year, they will be up for curriculum review, where we will be looking at, you look at all the resources, you look at the standards, and try to find what's best for the school district that we service. So you have to take each curriculum a year at a time. You can't do them all at one time. So ELA, because that was the request of the board last year, and then science, because we are way behind with our science curriculum, and next year will be social studies and history.
But we're going to ask that question immediately.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Ms. Phillips?
I'm sorry. Well, I just wanted to ask if it's a choice between having, not having these two. I guess I'm wondering what the alternatives are if we,
what we offer, and then what we had to choose from, because like I know we would like to, you wrote it down some of the other places, but you just go with your opinion.
Okay. Any other questions?
I'd be interested in opening the discussion.
I'm sorry. Yes, Ms. Greenstein? Wait, I'm sorry. Are you standing up as the public?
Yes.
Okay. Are we done? Okay. Are we done on this question?
I'm done with, it's another question I had in regards to, another comment.
Okay.
In regards to the trip policy, I know in our policy meeting we discussed about there was a form that we're supposed to be using to vet. Have we implemented that to date for future trips?
Did we put that form out? We put that form out.
The form went out to all district employees.
So we're supposed to. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Ms. Greenstein?
Non-agenda item, but related to A2 kindergarten registration. I just wanted to make it clear to parents of early intervention children, if your child has an IEP and early intervention, you are not limited to the window for kindergarten registration. You can call and make an appointment anytime.
Thank you, Ms. Greenstein. Anyone else on non-agenda items? Yes?
Hi, Ava Alexander, Yaden, Pennsylvania.
I've been teaching for the William Penn School District for 21 years. I've been teaching public school for 26. I'm here this evening because of my concern for Penwood High School Green Avenue campus and the staff and the students. My request is that each board member come visit Penwood during the school hours. I feel that our building is becoming out of control and is not safe for our students or our staff. There are too many students in the halls when they should be in class. When teachers write these students up, time after time, there are no consequences given to these students in a timely fashion. The problem has gone from bad to worse. The paper towel dispenser in the boys' bathroom has been torn off the wall 4 times since school began. Our front doors have also been broken so that it's very difficult to enter the building in the morning. We need additional security and maintenance staff to maintain our building. Please help us. Miss Fitty used to come, Mr. Wright comes often, I know you come, Miss Hoff, but if you would come now and just make your own assessment, because after 21 years in the district, it's something that I've never seen before. Thank you.
I'll be there Wednesday. Anyone else? Yes, Mr. Brooks?
Troy Brooks, Yaden, PA. Since December 10th, when we had that issue in Cypress Street campus, I actually had to have a meeting. It was basically supposed to be an unofficial voluntary meeting, and it was myself, my union rep, Joe Conley, and 2 principals, Dr. Lee and Mr. Curry. I had questions about we had a faculty meeting, and in that faculty meeting, I asked Dr. Lee herself what was her position on making sure we have a very good, safe climate where everybody can be involved. She didn't want to answer it, so I had left the meeting. But what she did, she painted a different picture of myself and my character during that meeting when I had followed the proper protocol to when I had a question was after her agenda. And I think she came over here because even when Joe thought that I interrupted her when I didn't. I just want to make that clear. Secondly, I had asked her what was her position on creating a good school climate. She didn't want to talk about it because she thought she was talking about the incident and teacher. We weren't talking about teacher X, okay? We weren't talking about it. But I had to come over here and we had good conversation. We were going back and forth. And then right at the very end, and this man right here, he told everybody in the email that this is a non-disciplinary meeting, is voluntary. I didn't have to come if I didn't want to. But she still tried to slide in, oh, you're going to be written up if we have to have some kind of disruption. So myself and my union rep, we cut the meeting. We cut the meeting. Because through that meeting, okay, I don't know if you guys are aware that teacher X has been using the N-word for years. And Dr. Lee, in our meeting, Dr. Lee admitted to me that she said, oh, I'm not sure if it was 1.5 years ago, but it happened. Because she also told Yvette Calvin and Tracy Pratt that she took care of it a couple of years ago. But I don't know if you guys know, or were you guys aware, because there was no union representation. And I know, just like when I asked my union rep, we have the ability to say if we want to have somebody, if we want to have representation or not. But if you guys don't know, and this happened years ago, and it's ongoing with the same teacher that can say any kind of racial epithet in a classroom, that's a major problem. And the fact that she got pissed off at me is because I brought it up. This was something she tried to hide, and it reared its ugly head again because the arrogance to continue to keep saying it, that's what came out. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem I had, okay? And if you guys don't know, I don't know, did you ever know that she's been saying this? I know, but I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? Because if anybody knew and it was happening, no, there was no slap on the wrist, no nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Anyone else on non-agenda items? Mr. Carpenter?
The first one I just wanted to ask, we had talked about child guidance. We did a child guidance presentation, and we were going to have a process going forward. And then last year, I think it was the month of April, the contract was just slid in there. And I wanted to know when are we going to talk about renewing the child guidance contract again this year? Will they have a presentation that will actually contain the data such as staff members, the revolving door that involves staff members, what their plan is? You know, I mean, can't be glorified babysitters. There needs to be some type of programming, whether it's mindfulness or something else going on. We have social emotional learning, we have self-awareness, social awareness, peer relationships, responsible decision-making, self-management. Like, are those things actually taking place, and are we getting the bang for the buck in terms of that program? Other thing in regards to the policy, serving as the motivation for the policy changes. I just ran a few things by the ACLU, PSBA, Pennsylvania School Board Association. I'm sure you're familiar with them. And there's a few issues regarding the language of this document from the ones you said over there.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, just maybe a few typos, or maybe since 2003 last revised, that may be the issue. The next thing, employee X, and I also found out not even about that situation, but the fact that the administrator, previously discussed it with them or whatever, and that's not my place at all. But the issue I have is that how can this same person be on your hiring committee? I remember interviewing, sitting right there, and this same person is sitting there with the notes and doing everything, and then gets to report on me. And then it turns out to be the same person that once again during our in-service days talks about myself and Libby Brown and where not this and that. But that person was, opinions are opinions. But the fact that that administrator already dealt with this and still allowed them to be on the hiring committee, I mean, I have a problem with that administrator's logic. And I wanted to know if that was also presented, to the superintendent. Does the superintendent have a hand in the hiring committee? And then the last thing I just wanted to check with Mr. Stockley, how he's responsible for the children. Does he do the same thing with, for instance, school board members? Years ago we had Miss Lehan, she had to relocate, so she had to vacate her position. If a school board member relocates, do they have to report it to us or to the solicitor? Like, what's the procedure for that?
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Good. Thank you. But, okay, thank you. Did you want to respond to any of that? I'm sorry. Wait. Hold on one second. Just 1 second. Did you want to respond to anything? I'll respond. Mr. Stockley is not responsible for checking on residency of school board directors. When a school board director moves, they need to report it.
Yeah, if the school board director moves out of the region for which they were elected, they need to report it. If a school board member moved out of the region from which they were elected, they are obliged to report that. Although even that is a little, like if it's a temporary relocation, like your house is having work done and you move out, you don't necessarily have to do anything about that. But if you've actually moved, you're supposed to report it. If you just moved, but you're still in the same region, you don't have to do it.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir.
Yes, in regards of Jordy Cherry, Lansdowne, Pennsylvania.
Thank you.
In regards to what Mr. Brooks said, I know it's not my place to ask, but what I'm asking is, what are you going to do about what Teacher X said? And I ask you this because this has happened previous years where she used racial slurs towards a predominantly black classroom, and she continuously comes back and does it again. So clearly the punishment that you're giving her isn't working. And I'm not telling you to fire her, but it is an option.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we may not speak about that case right now, but hopefully, eventually.
It is certainly on the boards. It is being dealt with.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Maybe stand up, your name and where you live.
My name is Mark Hellman in Derby, PA. So I would like to know why the people involved, the Teacher X case weren't notified when you guys were having the board meeting because certain things that that person said doesn't really add up to what happened in the actual classroom. For example, I was told that Teacher X said that 2 of the kids walked out of the classroom by choice when they were kicked out because she decided to talk about what had happened when she didn't want anybody who was disagreeing with her using racial slurs to the black classroom. But she was agreeing with everyone who said, oh no, you're right. But she didn't want to actually have a class discussion and she wouldn't let us learn because she just wanted to prove herself that what she did was right.
Well, 2 things. Teacher X, if we're all talking about the same teacher, never addressed the board. So, but if you or someone you know has firsthand knowledge about what happened in that incident, by all means, send an email to the superintendent about what you know, please.
I talked to the principal because we were kicked out about 2 times when we were sent to the guidance and we said things. And I just would like to know what's going to happen to Teacher X.
Understood. And that we can't talk about quite yet.
So, in our meeting, we did discuss, I think somebody brought up, how will we talk to the students? Can you at least let them know that they will be talked, you will talk to them eventually?
But we can't do anything until.
No,
I have many of their statements that they wrote, and we have shared those with legal.
I understand that. I was just making sure.
Yeah,
What I'm trying to say.
If I may,
okay.
As soon as we can talk about this, we will. What?
You know when you'll be able to talk about it.
We don't for sure, but it's certainly possible that at the next board meeting there'll be.
Right. Please stand up.
It's Marjorie from Darby. So would us parents be notified about the situation, like when you guys are here?
No, it's going to be a limited, and just, it feels bad in this situation, but as a rule, this idea that we're not going to talk about the personnel matters is a rule that everybody kind of buys into. Teachers and staff, as a rule, want that rule honored, and we kind of have to honor it. So you'll get some information, and either next month or the month after, I would expect. But it's not going to be a full discussion about, you know, everything that happened with that teacher.
So then we'll be our purpose and email it to the superintendent. If it's not going to be talked about.
So we can make sure that your statement goes to legal.
Well, my child statement was sent at the school.
Okay.
Then I have it.
Then it's
And
at legal.
it's been shared with legal.
Yes. Sir?
My name is Yusuf. I live in Darby. So I'm a junior currently. I was a previous student of Teacher X, and she used the same kind of language when I was in Lifeguard Academy. But me and my fellow classmates, we didn't really take this to any principals or anything. We just made her know that this wasn't okay behavior, but this obviously that gets her because she's continuing to do it in my little sister's grade. Like her being a teacher and being a white teacher in a majority black school, this kind of racist stories need to be kept out of the school. And then after her being pressed by the current students in her class, she proceeds to kick them out of the class, stripping them of their education. And I really don't think that's fair, and I think you guys need to handle this.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Ms. Miller?
Hi, just Nicole Miller, Alden, Pennsylvania. Just a question, I mean, hearing all the comments here, my daughter is a student at Cypress Street, and she was affected by it. She wasn't there, but she did hear about it. It has been a conversation in our household as well. But have we ever thought about the district providing some sort of cultural competency training for our staff? I think at this point it might be necessary, like mandatory at this point.
It has been scheduled for the high school in, Mr. McKay, can you help me with this? It's March. It's on the March. Dr. Lee, she did reach out to the IU for that support, and they will be coming in for the March in-service day. And that will only be just the beginning. It's not just something you can touch on and leave. So it will be something that will be ongoing.
Thank you.
Ms. Brown?
Why does it take for lawsuits to happen multiple times for a teacher to say something like this, for you to have a cultural competency? It's the difference between cultural insensitivity and cultural competency. Like, we have some teachers who are white, whatever the other race, and they are fine. They are not, there's nothing wrong. They are not racist. And then we have some teachers who need to learn about what it means in different cultures. I learned about my own. I have my daughter in the Chinese immersion program by choice, because it's something that I want her to understand, that this goes beyond just being black and white. And I think the problem is you have a 90%, I think it's 89% or whatever, African American population, and you have kids, and I think the issue with last month was that, oh, well, no one came out, so no one's going to say anything, so we'll just kind of keep it quiet. Well, now people are coming out, and I hope that you guys actually listen. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's 3, 4, 5 students, a couple of parents. It affects so many. You said you got multiple statements, and it affects us on different levels, because just like Troy Brooks said, where we were at a faculty meeting, he said when he wanted to know what Dr. Lee's beliefs and what our school culture, what did she believe it was. And when he stormed out because she couldn't give an answer, I clarified what the question was. And we both got called in for discipline meetings. And we can say that we did not, but the email said, feel free to bring union representation. So when we come to these meetings and Troy Brooks goes first, his almost ends in discipline, but only because him and his union rep walked out that it didn't end like that. And I think because I have a lawsuit with the district, it was very hush-hush, like, no, we're not going to do that with her. But the issue still is the same. Now I can't even speak at a faculty meeting. Now I can't even use my civil rights. It's a problem. And you guys need to, come over to the building, but also speak to some of these teachers. Some of these teachers are scared to speak out because they feel like they will be retaliated against. I have been retaliated against. I don't care. This is my district. I've been here. I've been here since kindergarten. I'm not leaving. So I need you to understand that, and I need you to understand that this is disgusting what's going on. Fix the problem. You really need to fix the problem and stop trying to just sweep it under the rug. Stop trying to discipline people who sit there and try to speak up. We're just asking questions. We're not trying to sit there and discipline someone or have someone be disciplined. We're simply trying to get some answers and move our school forward. I shouldn't have had to try to almost be disciplined. Troy Brooks shouldn't have had to almost be disciplined. These kids shouldn't have had to feel uncomfortable in a classroom the day after this incident happened. This is a problem. And the month after. And now they don't have a teacher, now it's a sub in there. So you guys really need to get this together, because I'm disgusted. And I was disgusted last month, and now I just keep getting more disgusted. Fix it.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Any other public comment? Okay, thank you.
I had to take my second time to speak on it. When can we find out about the field trip?
We'll have a policy meeting next Wednesday.
So the next policy meeting, we'll talk about it again?
Correct.
Okay, all right, good. All right, thank you very much, I appreciate you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we all done that? Mr. Ray?
Concern I have, when I took the mandatory school board training Saturday, there was a young lady who looked like me who was talking about trauma and cultural competency. So if we're going to have training for our teachers, I hope we would have someone who looked like me to provide that, instead of sending someone else who don't particularly understand what cultural competency means.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Can we recommend that? Because you might send somebody else.
Okay.
But there are some individuals not occupied with some names that can provide that training.
Okay.
Dr. Benedict did yours?
So,
Thank you.
Dr. Benedict did yours?
Okay.
She was a lawyer and a PhD.
If I may?
She's very good.
If I may?
Okay.
Okay, announcement, I'm sorry? Yes, Mr. Brooks?
When we have it in March, and me and myself and Dr. Lee, we had this discussion, and she told me that it wasn't well received, and I told her I said, I don't care if it wasn't well received the first time at Cypress Street. You gotta, as a leader, you gotta just tell them this is what's happening. This is the direction we're going to. Okay, because I mean, if you're gonna be a leader, either you're gonna lead, and if you can't handle it, go sell ice cream or something. You know what I'm saying? Because she told me, well, people weren't receiving it right. I don't care. Okay, we're teachers here. If we don't like it, if we don't like something that's being done, we can tell our story walking. You know what I'm saying? So I was not accepting her saying that Cypress Street did not feel it. They have to feel it because that's our job. Okay, we deal with all the different colors of kids, different people. Okay, everybody got different race. Okay, I had to remind her that she was a minority just like me because she forgot. Had to let her know I'm a black male. I said, and you're an Asian woman, because she obviously had forgotten it. And I told her I didn't like her lack of sensitivity to the whole thing and actually be upset with me because I brought it up because this was something that was hidden. You know, and I'm telling you this, just like Libby said, this has to get done because I have been angry and very angry since December. And I'm just slowly calming down because, you know, because I want to talk about it and get off my chest. But we got to do something about this ASAP. We can't have a leader that's going to be afraid to tackle the tough subjects. Okay? That's what coaches, leaders, we have to deal with the hard stuff. Okay? We deal with the same way as a parent. I deal with the hard stuff. I got 2 girls and a boy. The 2 girls, 21 and 17, yes, I have to deal with the hard stuff. Okay? But I have to be there for them to deal with it. And I have to make the situation comfortable for them to say, Dad, I got to have a one-on-one with you. Because I want to know. I don't want it to be hidden. But just like I told Dr. Lee in our meeting, and we almost made leadway. Almost. But she messed it up at the end. But we got to do something about this because I'm telling you, you got to come over here. And you got to come over here unannounced. And you got to be in the hallway. Don't even act like you don't ask to see nobody. Just walk through there during the course of the day. I've been in the district. I started off as a coach in 2006. Started teaching full-time in 2010. This is the worst that I've ever seen it. For the last 3 years. 3. Okay, and it has nothing to do with the type of leader. It doesn't have anything to do of leader, but it does have to do with the type of leadership. Okay, and you guys got to just sneak in there. I don't care, and you can see what's going on day to day. The lack of not having enough security, and then the same thing we're dealing with having a sub. I know you had to do a substitute central principal who only working 3 days a week. All right.
Okay, any more public comment regarding non-agenda items? Yes, ma'am.
I want to apologize, one, to the students. I'm sorry you have to endure what you have endured. To Mr. Brooks and to the teachers that it angers me as well. And it's not just me. Please trust and believe that this board is angered. To the point where I wish we could get on the rooftop and scream and show the emotion that I should not be showing right now. This is really bothering me too. And I hate to see the pain that is in our students' faces and how they have to come to our board meetings to address this. But please, I beg you, please trust and believe that we are doing something. No, we can't talk about it because we're, bonded by the union and the PA, BC, DEFG peoples. But know and trust that we're doing something, and we are. We just can't tell you what it is, but we're doing something. And trust and believe Nobody is letting this go under the rug and sweeping under the carpet and throwing it in the garbage. We're not. Just trust us to know that we're doing something. Okay?
Ms. Brown?
I do appreciate you saying that, and I honestly do think that you are handling it some kind of way. I think the issue is that there's been some lack of trust in the past, and so there's things that we're just not sure of. We hope, and we put our trust in you guys. Like, honestly, there's things that you vote on and there's things that you do that I don't know if a lot of people could do, but we're just asking you. It's not even just about this issue. Before you make decisions about things, you need to come and talk to people across the street. You need to, you can't just have one person coming over here talking to you guys and then you take that at face value. Because there's people that work hard here. There's people who, you know, have been in the trenches, have been here. And I'm not just talking about alumni. I'm talking about people who choose to be here, who come from all 45 minutes to an hour away. That's their choice. They could get a job somewhere else. But I think you guys just really need to start getting the ear of other people that are over there, and not just, it doesn't matter, like, get the ear of everyone over there, and get the ear of some of the students over there as well. Like, I appreciate you guys being on the board. I hope that they listen to you guys because you seem to have a good head on your shoulders, but honestly, I feel, when I leave these meetings, I feel deflated. I feel like some of you do not listen. You keep voting for the same things over and over. You vote based on what someone else says. You don't listen. And it's frustrating. It really is very frustrating. And besides this racial issue, which in 2020, in a 90% or 88, 87, whatever you want to say, we shouldn't have these kind of issues where they're so prevalent that someone feels that comfortable to say whatever they're going to say. And it's like we're reactive. It needs to be proactive and progressive. So I just hope that you guys just listen. You can tell I'm tired. This is the second time around. I'm deflated. But honestly, I don't even know. My 3 minutes up. Okay.
And then I have a I don't want to say rebuttal. It's not a rebuttal. I can't think of the word for it. But I want to say communication goes both ways. I do understand about the non-trust. I got it. I'm learning it more and more as I'm on this board. I'm learning it. But communication does go both ways. And I hope that eventually you'll get to trust us and know that we're doing the best we can and we're learning. I think most of us is probably new on this board under 2 years. So, you know, start talking to us as well as us coming to you, you know, because that's how we're going to build this relationship. That's what we want. We talked about in our meetings how we want to build relationships with our community and with our teachers and with our students. It shouldn't be where you feel drained after the meeting. It should not be. So, you know, I know it probably hasn't been a good path, you know, or journey, you know, with the past school board, but give us a chance. Don't rule us out because of what happened in the past. You know, help us to help you. And you know, again, I know I'm less than 2 years, so I'm still trying to learn. And if you saying, you know, Mrs. Hopkins, I hate that name, Miss Joy, you know, come to me, say, you know, tell me what it is that I need to do. I don't know unless you talk to me as well. I go over to the school and I know exactly what you're talking about. So, you know, how you know, what's the guy on the show, New Amsterdam? He says, how can I help? Well, that's my plea. How can I help? So
Transparency is the biggest.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Yes?
I just, I think that this points to me something that we've been talking about in the Community Relations Committee meetings the last couple of rounds, and we have another one coming up on February 12th to talk about building a vision for school climate and a plan, and real teeth to that plan that has this not a one-off, you know, we're not talking cultural competency as a one-off thing. We're thinking about everything from how we use student discipline to how we deal with severe mental illness in our schools, which is increasing, to just general safety and well-being. Like we want to be well, just surviving. And so I think all of what's coming up tonight makes me think like, I want, I think I speak for the board, we want all of your voices in those spaces where we're talking about where are we going to be next year, 3 years from now, 5 years from now on this question of school climate that covers all of this ground and more. And so, it's an invitation to come to that, but also to reach out, even if you can't make it to the meeting, have a conversation with me or others about, how can we make sure your voices and vision and experience and what you've lived through day to day in our school district is embedded in that vision and plan, because I think that's how we move forward. Is all of the voices here saying like this is how it's going to be better, and how we're going to move toward that. So it's just an invitation for that, and just to keep opening that conversation.
Thank you. Thank you all. Announcement of future meetings, a policy meeting of 6:30, February 5th, in this room. Personnel, Thursday, February 6th, at 6:30 in this room. Community relations, the meeting Ms. Phillips was discussing, Wednesday, February 12th, at 6:30. Education, Thursday, February 13th, in this room. Tuesday, February 18th. Remembering Monday is a holiday, meeting of the Committee of the Whole. And the next business meeting is Monday, February 24th. Pre-session will begin at 6:30. Regular session at 7:30. May I have a motion to adjourn, please? So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I ask for executive session?
Yes, you may.
Can I ask for executive
Yes,
session?
you may.